In every war, there are two kinds of fighters, the ones who hold the gun and the ones who hold the secret. But inside Gaza, a place filled with silence and suspicion, one man lived between both worlds. To his brothers, he was a loyal Hamas commander, a man of faith, courage, and trust. But to his enemies, he was something far more valuable, a window into the heart of Hamas. His name was Walid Radi Ibrahim Hamdaya. To most, just another soldier, but behind the surface, he was living a lie that would change everything, a lie that would lead to the death of friends, the destruction of leaders, and a sentence that would end his life. This is not just a story about betrayal, it's a story about how the world's most secretive intelligence agency, the Mossad, managed to plant a spy deep inside one of the most dangerous organizations in the whole world. And how that spy, one man, almost brought it all down from within. This is Denzel speaking, and welcome to the world of intrigue. To understand Walid's story, you have to understand the world he lived in. Gaza, a narrow strip of land between Israel and Egypt, one of the most crowded, complex, and tense places on earth. For decades, it has been at the center of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a place when wars are fought not only with weapons, but with intelligence, information, and secrets. Hamas, which controls Gaza, has always been in a state of constant alert. Every conversation, every meeting, every stranger can be a potential spy. And the Mossad, Israel's intelligence service, has spent years trying to infiltrate that world, looking for insiders, traitors, and informants who could give them even the smallest piece of information. Walid Radi Ibrahim Hamdaya was born and raised in this environment, a place where loyalty was everything. From a young age, he joined the fight, rising through the ranks of Hamas. He was respected, even trusted by those who are around him. He worked in operations, logistics, and planning. He was that kind of man people depended on. But inside him, something began to change. Maybe it was fear, maybe it was ambition, or maybe it was the feeling that he could control his own destiny by working with the very people his world called enemies. No one suspected that the man sitting in the front row of every meeting, the one helping plan attacks and defense operations, was already being watched not only by Hamas but by the Mossad itself. The Mossad does not recruit spies by accident. They study, they wait, and they choose carefully. They knew Walid's type: disciplined, intelligent, and cautious. They also knew his weaknesses. At some point in the late 1990s, Walid was arrested by Israeli forces during a military operation. He was questioned, isolated, and given a choice. The Mossad does not start with threats. They start with empathy. They learn what a man wants most. It could be safety, money, freedom, or maybe even a promise that his family will not suffer anymore. In prison, time breaks people. The silence, the pressure, uncertainty, it changes how you think. It's said that this was where Walid's story as a spy began. He was offered something that felt like a way out, a deal. They told him, "You can help reduce the bloodshed. You can save lives. Just tell us what you see." At first, it sounded harmless. He wasn't being asked to pull a trigger or betray a friend, only to share some details. But intelligence, some small details can kill thousands. And when he was released, he went back to Gaza pretending that everything was normal. But something inside him had changed. He started to meet quietly with his handlers, sometimes in some Arabic countries, sometimes through secret communications. And Mossad agents trained him step by step. He learned how to send coded messages, how to hide microchips, how to use invisible ink and encrypted phone lines. They told him to report movements without drawing attention, to describe places without naming them directly. To Hamas, Walid was a man rebuilding his loyalty. To Mossad, he was Agent A, the eyes and ears inside the heart of Gaza. The more information he gave, the more the Mossad trusted him, and soon his small reports turned into major operations. He provided the names of Hamas commanders, the location of secret tunnels, and even details about internal meetings. He had become their invisible weapon, and the cost of his information would soon be measured in blood. Once the connection was established, Walid became one of the most important assets Israel ever had inside Gaza. He sent precise reports, names, cars, safe houses, and times of movement. Each time a report reached the Mossad, Israeli forces reacted fast. Airstrikes began to hit exact locations, often just hours after secret meetings ended. Senior Hamas leaders died in targeted attacks, and nobody understood how Israel knew where they were. The accuracy was terrifying. Every operation that succeeded made it Walid more valuable and more dangerous to keep alive. For years, he lived his double life, commander by day, informant by night. He smiled in group photos of Hamas fighters even while sending their coordinates to Mossad. For years, Walid Radi Ibrahim Hamdaya had played his role perfectly. He lived two lives, one in the daylight, one deep in the shadows. By now, Mossad trusted him completely, and Hamas trusted him even more. He believed he was untouchable. But in the world of espionage, no one stays invisible forever. It began with questions, small ones at first. After every Israeli airstrike, Hamas investigators asked the same thing. How did they know? Time after time, the missiles hit exactly where high-level meetings were taking place. They struck moving cars carrying senior leaders or secret warehouses that only a handful of men knew about. At first, suspicion pointed toward outsiders, maybe informants in the neighborhoods or civilians' drones in the sky. But as the pattern repeated, the leadership realized something much darker. The enemy was inside. So Hamas created a special internal unit, a small circle of intelligence officers who would quietly search for spies. They started with the obvious, checking phone records, communication patterns. They compared the times of airstrikes with who was present in each location. They built maps, connected dots, and waited for unconsciousness to appear. Walid's name did not stand out at first. He was too cautious, never using his phone call, never using his own phone, never sending direct messages. He changed routes, avoided routes, and acted like a man with nothing to hide. But over time, even the most careful spy leaves traces. One investigator noticed something strange. Walid always seemed to miss danger by minute. He would change a meeting time, postpone a visit, or suddenly decide to stay behind. He always had a reason, and it always sounded logical. But when those changes were plotted on a timeline, a chilling pattern emerged. Each one matched the timing of Israeli attacks. Still, evidence was not enough. They needed proof. So Hamas set a trap. They planned a fake operation, spreading false information through limited channels to see where it led. Only 5 men knew the details. Walid was one of them. With 48 hours, the exact location and the fake plan was bombed by Israel. That was it. The circle was complete. From that moment, Walid was already a dead man walking, but he did not know it yet. The internal unit began watching him every minute. They followed him to meetings, checked his contacts, even tracked the people he spoke to on the street. Finally, they found the clue they needed. A small radio transmitting device hidden in an everyday object inside his home. That night, they came for him. Gaza was silent. Walid was at home, alone. They knocked on the door. Wasn't a lounge, just steady, final. He opened it and saw the faces of men he had trained, men who once saluted him. They did not speak. They just entered and closed the door behind them. He was taken to an underground location, blindfolded, hands bound. For hours, he denied everything. He said he was loyal, that the charges were lies, that he was being framed. But Hamas had more than accusations. Now they had proof. They had intercepted messages between him and his Israeli handlers. They had found notes written in code, and an old pager that contained intercepted transmissions. After days of interrogation, the truth began to surface. Piece by piece, Walid admitted what he had done. He told them he had been recruited years earlier during his time in Israel custody. He claimed he did it to protect his family and he never wanted anyone to die. But for Hamas, the damage was already done, and the number of dead commanders was too high to forgive. His confession spread quickly through the ranks. Shock, disbelief, rage, emotions flooded Gaza's underground cells. This wasn't just another informant. This was a man who had eaten with them, prayed beside them, and guided their operations while secretly pointing Israel toward their hiding places. In the end, Hamas made an example of him. He was sentenced publicly for treason, the gravest crime of all. Posters with his name were torn from walls, his photos destroyed, and his family isolated. When the day came, they brought him to an open area in Gaza City. Crowds gathered, not out of celebration, but out of a grim need to witness justice. His face was calm, almost empty. Some say he looked relieved, as if the double life he had carried for years had finally reached its end. Others said he whispered a prayer before the execution. For the people watching, it was the end of a traitor. For the Mossad, it was the loss of one of their most valuable assets. And for Gaza, it was a warning that no secret, no matter how deep, stays buried forever. After his death, Hamas launched a wide campaign against collaborators. Dozens were arrested, some disappeared quietly, others were executed publicly. Fear spread through the streets because no one knew how many more Walids still lived among them. And in Tel Aviv, behind closed doors, Israeli forces removed one name from their files: Agent A terminated. His work had changed the course of battles, ended the lives of commanders, and rewritten the intelligence map of Gaza. But his own story ended exactly as every spy fears it will: alone, exposed, and erased by the very shadows he once served. In the end, the story of Walid Hamdaya is more than just a tale of one spy. It's a mirror showing how, in the dark world of intelligence, truth and loyalty are never black and white. He was a man who thought he could walk between two fires, but in the end, both sides burned him. For Israel, he was a valuable tool, a shadow that brought them victory after victory. For Gaza, he became the symbol of betrayal, and for himself, he became the man caught between two worlds, belonging to neither. Spying isn't just about secrets and codes. It's about fear, manipulation, and survival. The human side of war that no headline can capture, because behind every airstrike, every assassination, every piece of intelligence, there's always someone, a real person, who took the risk to pass the information. And when the truth comes out, no one remembers the justifications or the reasons, only the betrayal. Walid's story forces us to ask, how far would you go to survive? And when you are caught between loyalty and life, which one do you choose? This was the story of Walid Radi Hamdaya, the man who betrayed Gaza from within. And this is Denzel, and this is Beyond Front Lines, where we uncover the secrets the world tries to bury. Stay tuned, because next time we will reveal another story hidden in the shadows of conflict.